On this show, I love sharing with you the things and the finds that I come across while filming every single day across this wonderful city of ours. And there's no more interesting for me than finding real Hollywood superstars' homes. You know, the ones where they came to live in London to escape maybe the clamour and, of course, the celebrity culture that they had over in the land of Hollywood. When I tell you about today's star, it's fascinating really, because by fluke I was actually lucky enough to meet her and speak with her on a number of occasions, because at that particular time, as a resting thespian I might point out, I was working in a particular hotel. And every single day she would come by and sit out. She had a small dog and would literally just sit there, have a coffee and a glass of water and watch the world go by. Little did I know, though, that this particular lady, for a considerable amount of time, was indeed the screen legend, none other than the very beautiful Ava Gardner. And today I wanted to show you exactly where she lived in London. So as ever, let's take a look. Ava lived here in this beautiful apartment building right from 1972 until her passing in the early 90s. And the thing about Ava was she was very much down to earth, but a lot of people don't, realize that exactly she was a fiery character. As I said before, I was very lucky to meet and spend time and become friends with her very first husband, Mickey Rooney. And basically Mickey Rooney had to marry Ava Gardner on the orders of the studio boss, Louis B. Mayer. And he wasn't very keen on it, and he felt that it would really sort of peter out, but they decided that they were going to go ahead and get married. Ava Gardner apparently was very keen on the idea, according to Mickey, and so they did. Of course, it didn't last, as a lot of Mickey's marriages didn't. But Ava Gardner went into the stratosphere as a movie star, literally being built up by the mega powerful MGM studio complex, headed by Louis B. Mayer. Now, by the time she come over to London at this particular period, as she'd already pointed out, her time as a movie star, for her at least, was, well, more or less over. She was offered all sorts of work, but she did enjoy the work, there's no two ways about it. But what she did the work for was simply now for money, not necessarily for its art. I remember her saying to me that she appeared in the now fabulous 80s soap Knots Landing quite strictly for the loot. She just needed money. She had a certain lifestyle that she liked to live to, and consequently needed to keep working. Of course, Ava, to many people, was basically aligned without a shadow of a doubt with one of the biggest voices, the most talented voices of the last century, Frank Sinatra. Their tempestuous sort of marriage, falling out and everything was really what the scandal sheets of the 1950s truly looked for. As Ava pointed out to me, they only literally had to walk out the door and there was some kind of scandal. Ava Gardner, as I say, was an incredible woman, a very beautiful woman, and was apparently putting pen to paper for a book, but then kind of got cold feet. The story goes, though, that her former husband, Frank Sinatra, gave her money not to write the book. And apparently she said to me she wasn't going to be that nasty or cruel about him anyway, was just going to write what she remembered, which wasn't too much after so many years in the limelight. What was interesting, Ava lived life to the full, and these gardens behind me here, she could go across every single day with her small dog, take it out for a walk and just simply take in the air. Apparently she loved living in London because, well, people didn't necessarily recognise her. In later life, she had quite a few health problems, and so consequently didn't go out too far, quite literally the gardens and the hotel around the corner. But for many, of course, Ava Gardner truly lives on as an icon of the silver screen, the golden age of Hollywood. All of her movies really elicit that thing, don't they, of, ah yes, the beautiful Ava Gardner. And she truly was, in an era where there was no real cosmetic surgery, fillers, Botox, all that sort of stuff, she was a genuine beauty. But as she told me, she never really planned to become Ava Gardner. It was something that happened quite by fluke. And the only reason she enjoyed acting truly in the end was quite simply this. She liked the money, and for a period she liked the lifestyle. But towards the end of her life, she liked reverting back to what she remembered. As she said, I was quite happy being unknown, and I'm quite happy being unknown once again, only this time living in London, or she forgot to add, in the luxury, of course, of 34 Ennismore Gardens. When Ava passed, the story goes that her ex-husband Frank Sinatra simply paid for everything. He still loved her to the very end, as so many people still do love the beautiful, gorgeous and very talented, despite what she said, Ava Gardner. Neil Sean in the very heart of Knightsbridge, London.